A very good morning to all the participants and a hearty welcome to the webinar series 2020 hosted by Ramaya Institute of Management. Hope you and your loved ones are safe and healthy. Now coming to today's topic of discussion, Industry 5.0. Is it the next Ambit for Indian manufacturing? Yes, no, maybe. And I'm sure many of you, especially from the industry background, must be wondering that why are we even discussing Industry 5.0 when our organizations are still limping at Industry 3.0 and 3.5? And I'm confident that post-discussion you will find this more relevant. Even before we head towards understanding the relevance of Industry 5.0 or rather any industrial revolutions, which basically is an enabler and not the end goal. What is important for us is to get a grasp of where is India presently and where is it heading towards. Technology is only an enabler of our goals and not the goal itself, and therefore it becomes even more important for us to take a stock of the situation and then find the relevancy. India is aspiring. Some say India is aspiring, some say aspirational India. And why is that so? Because 62.5% of our population currently is in the age bracket of 15 to 59, which is a contributing population. In 2019, India has entered 37-year period of demographic dividend, which will reach its peak in 2036. When 65% of population will be in the contributing bracket. According to the World Bank reports, India is the world's third largest economy in purchase parity and aspires to become high middle income country by 2030. It is trying to achieve better growth to promote inclusion and sustainability by reshaping policy approach to human development, social protection, financial inclusion, and so on. Which means there is a very, very holistic approach that is being laid out in order to have a holistic growth of India. Already, the entire world is looking up to India as the next emerging leader in the way in which it has behaved across. The way it has responded to various countries, the way it has responded within the country and tried containing the situations. Therefore, India's ability to achieve rapid, sustainable development will have profound implications on the entire world. Though very aspirational, achieving this is definitely not a bed of roses. India has its own set of challenges, hurdles which it needs to overcome to fulfill the set of goals. Although there have been a substantial growth since 2012, but on the downside, this development has been very uneven, leading to skewed access to opportunities primarily due to educational divide, digital divide, cultural divide, gender divide, and so on. And that's where these aspirations seem even more far-fetched. And country's human development indicator further catalyzes the challenge. To add to it, there has been a decelerated growth rate in the past 2 years due to national as well as global issues. From India, we move to the manufacturing sector. Reason being, manufacturing sector is always considered as the backbone of almost all economies. Even those countries thriving on service economy do have manufacturing setups supporting them. And it is very important for us to understand where does Indian manufacturing stand currently. The as is. We all are aware that there is a stagnation in manufacturing output and the employment contraction, mainly due to excessive rigidity in manufacturing labor market and rigid labor regulations. Of course, I'm sure you will agree that this is a topic of discussion by itself. However, we need to move on. So moving on, although agriculture, manufacturing, services and IT sector are the major pillars of Indian economy, the current growth is actually a service-driven growth. Close to 45% of population is employed by agriculture, but unfortunately, the contribution to GDP is just about 15%. Whereas, service sector is the biggest contributor in the GDP, but it employs less than 30%. IT, financial services are drivers of service sector growth in the last 2 decades, but unfortunately again, they are not employment intensive. India still follows import-oriented development strategy, unlike Southeast Asian countries, which acts as a deterrent factor towards its growth. Not being projected as a labor-intensive goods exporter, it's affecting the demand for its product. Not to mention the infrastructure bottlenecks hindering effective distribution systems and various problems that are associated with MSMEs. Taking a cue from the human development indicators, there is definitely a skill mismatch which is leading to the underperformance of the manufacturing sector. Thanks to COVID-19 and prevailing pandemic situation, the equations across the globe is undergoing a paradigm shift. Nations are profusely propagating think local, act local, and become global. The economic nationalism and the protectionism is on the steep rise. Phrases like indigenous production, import substitution will become the flavor of the near future. Whether we are looking at deglobalization, reglobalization, definitely there are certain changing equations that are coming in. There are cases where nations might work in silos. There are cases where nations might expand beyond their boundaries to create a very, very trusted supply chain. And this definitely is going to change all the equations across the global trade. Back in India, in fact, Mr. Munjal, CMD of Hero Motors, has already decided to reduce their imports from 10% to 3% in the next 3 years. This decision will reduce their annual import bill by rupees 900 crores, which is quite a substantial amount. Does this decision impact the local business? Definitely yes. As their 7% of material has to be now fulfilled by the local producers, creating more domestic business opportunities. The business units will now have to cater to Indian as well as UK and German markets, which means their entire operations have to be scaled up. Employment will increase and visibility of India will also increase. And how does this happen? This surely calls for a revamping of the existing global chains, adopting advanced technologies. Just to have an understanding, for example, if we look at the textile sector, this textile sector may revive in Europe as automation takes away the cost advantage of lower wages enjoyed by the developing nations like Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. One-time investments in technology will be justified by stable local supplies at competitive costs, and that's why we are aiming at complete paradigm shift towards the way manufacturing is being done, towards the way the trade will be carried out. And what are we looking at? This situation is definitely propelling us into an era of Industry 5.0 rather than Industry 4.0. Campaigns like America First, Brexit, Make in India will reach fever pitch and spread to other countries. Of course, the whole shift is not about just thinking and acting local, but also being global. at the same time. There will be increase in costs as businesses shift to a larger onshore models rather than outsources, because the latter were largely driven by savings and economies of scales. To dent this, nations will simultaneously woo foreign investment despite the growing nationalism. Nations will want those MNCs having cultural similarities to invest capital and introduce technology in faraway destinations which might get labeled as inverse globalization. In order to understand this effect of leapfrogging into Industry 5.0 directly, it is important for us to take a sneak peek into the Industrial Revolution so far. The first Industrial Revolution, the Industrial Revolution as the historian liked to call, was a shift from manpower to machine power. Fuel sources like steam and coal made machine use more feasible, and the idea of manufacturing with machines quickly spread. Machines allowed faster and easier production. The second industrial production, or rather industrial revolution, Industry 2.0, also called as technological revolution, where superior electrical technology allowed even greater production and more sophisticated machines, leading to mass production using assembly lines. Industry 3.0 triggered the digital revolution, integrating automation using electronics and computers. 1970s laid a stepping stone for current revolution and future revolutions as well. During 1980s, the wave of globalization swept the entire trade fraternity across the world. The revolution did come, but this time it did not change the way manufacturing was done, but definitely changed the way businesses were carried out across the territories, continents, and world. Industry 3.5 leveraged offshoring production for cheap labor and material, resulting in economies of scales. Then came the era of ubiquitous computing, cyber-physical systems, also called as cyber-physical production system when used in manufacturing industries. Connected devices radically digitalized everything. Advanced technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, 3D printing, big data, Internet of Things, Internet of Services, and currently Internet of Everything is being used everywhere. Industry 4.0 brought in exceptional quality and leaner processes with machines as their focal point. With such promising revolution, industry still felt the need to advance itself to Industry 5.0. Where Industry 4.0 created the fear of losing jobs and focused on heavy automation, Industry 5.0 brought in artificial intelligence and human intelligence together. Human-machine interface is bringing in people centricity, be it customers or employees. It's easier said than done. Each industrial revolution has brought in increased set of complexities, especially in terms of cognitive abilities required by the humans involved. A closer look at the talent revolution matrix indicates the exponential rise in the type of talent required due to changing nature of job. Starting from with the very basic monotonous unskilled tasks during the Industrial Revolution to expected demonstration of learning agility, adaptability, transdisciplinary skills in the recent revolution. However, it needs to be noted that each of these revolutions have taken almost 100 years to come through. However, when we look at a transition from Industry 4 to Industry 5.0, it is even less than a decade that it is taking care of. To get a better insight into Industry 5.0, understanding 4.0 is a prerequisite. Industry 4.0 is enabled by advanced technologies which are now applied to almost every sector possible, right from smart utilities to smart appliances, from defense to healthcare. There is a massive increase in safety, quality, and reduced waste. Less than a decade has passed since the talk of Industry 4.0 first surfaced in manufacturing circles. Yet, visionaries are already forecasting the next revolution. Yes, Industry 5.0. If the current revolution emphasizes the transformation of factories into IoT-enabled smart facilities that utilizes cognitive computing and internet or interconnect via cloud servers, Industry 5.0 is set to focus on return of human hands and minds into the industrial framework. The Industry 5.0 is characterized by two important aspects. One of them being batch size 1, that is mass personalization. This desire for mass personalization forms the psychological and cultural driver behind Industry 5.0, which involves using technology to return value added by humans to manufacturing. Industry 5.0 products empower people to realize the basic human urge to express themselves, even if they have to pay a premium price. Making these products requires what we call the human touch. A study revealed that 1 in 5 consumers are willing to pay 20% more for the personalized products. This is being currently used in automobile industries, healthcare, and also now getting extended to logistic companies, where market of one is definitely the future that we're looking at. What are these characteristics of batch size 1? It is a market of one, firm initiated. Implicit customer needs are being addressed. Customer is the co-creator. Products and service platforms need to be changeable so that batch of one or batch size 1 can be implemented. These platforms also should be adaptable and configurable, wherein it supports all the flexibility that needs for batch size 1. And definitely here, the value outperforms the cost. And that is where is the trigger of personalized products being catered to. The other aspect of Industry 5.0 is cobots, the collaborative robots which operate along with humans. These robots are less expensive, easy to learn, program, and more flexible when compared to industrial robots. Where industrial robots are built to perform complex tasks, robots perform simpler tasks, leaving the complicated tasks to humans. Cobots help humans to increase their efficiency, effectiveness, and also enhance their capabilities. With this focus returning to humans, the fifth industrial revolution may also require a new manufacturing role under the C-suite called as Chief Robotics Officer, that is CRO. Apart from the new role addition, the talent matrix is also undergoing a transition from doing repetitive tasks to perception-driven decisions and design. The skills most sought after are creativity, critical thinking, persuasion, and negotiation. As evident in the comparison displayed, Industry 4.0 is more focused on connecting machines, while Industry 5.0 focuses on delivering customer experience. In Industry 5.0, all the operations, be it hyper-customization, responsive and distributed supply chain, interactive products, revolve around customer, bringing manpower back to factories. It has also done very important thing which Industry 4.0 did not do, was negating the fear that Industry 4.0, once fully implemented, could spark mass layoffs across the industrial sector, leaving many low-educated factory workers jobless. This is also one of the reasons as to why Industry 4.0 was not widely adopted in the nations having abundant labor. Coming to the enablers of Industry 5.0. There are various technologies that are being used which is actually an extension of Industry 4.0. There is additive technology. When people are still trying to figure out 3D printing and look at the scope of its application or understand its scope of application, the new industrial revolution has already moved to 4D printing, where the material of the item printed reacts to the temperature or pressure exerted on that material or component that is made using that material. These are called as intelligent materials. And this 4D technology or 4D printing technology is being widely used in healthcare industry to minimize the level of incision while performing surgeries. They are also being tested in defense scenarios where these intelligent material respond and react with the help of changing temperature or by changing pressure. The next technology is the 5G. Of course, 5G, when compared to 4G, will definitely take the quality of internet to another level. Drones are also now being used as carriers within the shop floor to optimize paths. Industrial blockchains are diagrammatically changing supply chain and inventory management. Combination of augmented reality and visual reality is extensively used to augment the real scenario. Asset maintenance and employee safety. Exoskeletons, also called as wearable robots, enhance the capabilities of humans. Take a look at this video to understand the applicability of these technologies, be it exoskeletons or a combination of AR and VR, which actually enhances the entire capability of humans.
To protect your business amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, one main key is employee safety, as there are many zones where people can run into one another. There are two big challenges: keeping sufficient distance and being able to trace possible chains of infection. Two challenges, one solution. Equipped with an ultra-precise and light ultra-wideband sensor, the Kinexon SafeTag measures in real time distance and duration of an employee contact up to 10 centimeters or 0.3 feet. If employees are getting too close, the Kinexon SafeTag immediately sends out a warning. This can happen visually, in case where the distance between employees is too close, or audibly, in case of long-running contact situations. The visual and audible warning signals can be individualized based on distance and time. In case an employee is infected, Kinexon Safe Zone identifies critical contact periods, which helps to enable a fast response.
Switches just flick up.
This is the moment I become part machine.
So you should feel engagement at about the time.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
There you go.
Whoa.
There's the smile machine.
That's crazy. I'm wearing something called the Exo Vest. An exoskeleton that makes lifting things easier by shifting pressure from your arms and shoulders to your legs. I kind of feel like I'm leaning on an invisible ledge right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things. Yeah.
I could do this all day. The goal is not superhuman strength, although lifting this light case was much easier. Whoa.
Okay.
Instead, the vest is meant to reduce the stress on your shoulders that builds up from doing the same thing over and over again. Right now, it's being used by 4 production line workers at Ford's factories. And according to Marty Smets, it's already reducing workplace injuries.
We're not using it to augment the strength of our operators.
Yeah.
We're not asking them to lift heavier parts. What we're just trying to do is protect shoulders. So people would report shoulder or neck discomfort. Sometimes they would have to ice it, just because of overuse. Now they're reporting they no longer have to do that.
Lowe's, Siemens, and Panasonic are also testing similar suits for their workers. In a very unscientific test, I wanted to see how much longer I could hold something light with the vest on.
Oh, yeah.
Like this fully packed camera bag. Without the vest, my arm gave out after about a minute, and I held on for about 2.5 minutes with it on.
Likewise, improved AI in manufacturing is also creating waves just like Alexa and Siri in our homes. The line voice-enabled assistant is bringing new meaning to the line operations management. We don't have to go very far in terms of applicability of these exoskeletons or these wearable robots. L'Oreal, one of the biggest manufacturing cosmetic brands across the world, has a plant in Pune where on a daily basis humans had to shift their entire set of pallets weighing about close to 8,500 kgs, which was classified as a level 4 in terms of safety hazard in terms of ergonomics. And that is where they started using these exoskeletons, which drastically improved or enhanced the capabilities of humans without giving them a major set of injuries. And thus the compliance of ergonomics also came in place without actually changing any of their processes or without any larger investments. Now, when we look at these all different technologies, it is also very important to understand that will these technologies fit within the framework of Indian manufacturing scenario. So coming back to India, the making of Atmanirbhar Bharat will definitely encompass a bumpy road. Reason? Because we have already gone through various challenges, various issues that the Indian manufacturing is facing. Trying to delve a little more into it. So far, we have not realized the potential of manufacturing exports. The land availability, cost of capital, technology, absence of global scale manufacturing, poor logistics infrastructure are some of our pain points which could prove a hindrance to this concept of or in the making of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Of course, adding to it, the commodity prices in India remain higher as compared to China. Reasons much understood. In fact, countries like Vietnam have free trade agreement allowing them to import raw material at lower cost, which definitely has a better impact on their pricing. Now the question here is, can we become Atmanirbhar? And that's a big yes, provided we take some stringent actions such as drastic labor reforms, promoting labor-intensive sectors, strengthening MSMEs, digitalization divide between the larger companies and MSMEs should be narrowed, as majority of the MSMEs are vendors to bigger organizations. This will drastically increase the quality as well as give competitive pricing to the market. Promoting entrepreneurship is also one of the key elements or key solutions that India should be looking at. What India needs here is, India needs close to 100 companies of 50 crores worth rather than just one big 5,000 crore company. I hope you're getting my point, which means we need to have a distributed companies across the geographical location rather than concentrating on just one big large company. This distribution will not only bring employment, will also bring in competition and thus raising our standards much more higher. Of course, it's needless to say that skill development being one of the main enablers of the brand India. Changes should be brought right from primary education with substantial skill-based outcome. Of course, it seems a very long-distant plan, but definitely it will have a very, very longer and deeper impact in the years to come. The brand India should provide a conducive ecosystem with shorter gestation period, with interoperable infrastructure in a plug-and-play mode, wherein organizations, especially the MNCs coming from other countries, do not have to worry about setting up their entire system, wherein it is all readily available. They just have to come and start their functioning. Supply chain should establish deeper linkages with global customers by supporting Tier 2 sourcing. This will also help to tackle the issues of guest workers from other states. Employability will be readily available at their own homes or their own villages or towns rather than migrating. This will also solve many other issues which are being unnecessarily emerging in across different states. As the following labor-intensive sectors are being promoted by the government, what we've been seeing through the discussion here is India does have capability. Of course, there are various challenges that they need to overcome. And when we look at Industry 5.0 as an enabler, Industry 5.0 definitely improves integration, allows faster, better automation paired with power of human brains, leading to high quality products at competitive pricing. To conclude, I will again raise the same question. Is Industry 5.0 the next Ambit for Indian manufacturing? As of now, it does seem like. But it's not outright. It needs to be worked towards, or rather work in progress. Are we ready to embrace this new Ambit? Still not very sure, but there are certain steps that are being taken. So we are definitely gearing towards it. So thank you so much for patient listening. Due to paucity of time, questions will be taken offline. Please feel free to write to me on the following email ID. And thank you once again, and do watch out this space for more interesting webinars. Thank you.